Okay, so we'll flick the manual over to page 3 now. And again, just the same as the last last page, we're going to look at the very bottom of the page to start with, and we're just going to get out all the components that we're going to need to complete this part of the page. Most of the parts actually came in bag A, namely all our bulkheads, aluminium bulkheads. So there's going to be a front and a rear set. You'll notice that they're signified A and signified B, so as not to get those mixed up. So we'll get these open. You can also see that we're going to need the engine mount. So this is our engine mount here. Really nice piece of kit. You can actually see the little steps that that Destiny have used. This is to allow us to adjust the flex in the car by either leaving some screws out or putting some screws in. That'll have a dramatic effect on handling. We'll come to that a little bit later. In the manual there is a section on tuning the chassis using this engine mount to dial in the amount of flex that you want. It's a great tuning tool and something that I recommend if you haven't played with. You definitely want to have a look at it. Again, we're going to need our M3x6. So I'm not going to show you the chart again. I can tell that these are the M3x6. So we're going to need 4 of those for each end of the car. This is for the bulkheads. Alright, so we're going to fit those bulkheads up. As I said before, these are signified with letters on them. So they're actually sets. So we have an A and a B for the rear and an A and a B for the front. So the A will be going on the battery side of the car, and again, really nicely keyed. The machining, absolutely really spot on. Nice anodizing job as well. Even some little air relief holes here for when we put our screws in. Okay, so this one in to start with. So the same as before, just do a little nip to start and then we'll finish torquing them up once they're all securely in place. Now on the rear it's the opposite. So the A is going to be over on this side. So basically the lettering is going to be facing in towards the center line of the car, and our sway bar mounts will be at each exterior. So facing the back, facing the front. Okay, front and rear bulkheads are on. If at this stage you've put those on and your sway bar mounts are facing towards the middle of the car, you better have a look at what you've done. Alright, so next up on the build is the engine mount. Again, we're going to need some of those M3x6 countersunks. So the out of the box setting is basically just the 2 screws in the front and 2 in the back. So because I haven't run the car before, I'm just going to start with the box setup. So engine mount's going to go down here like so. and we'll just get that screwed on. It's like I was pointing out before, there's actually a lot of tunability in the setup just by using this engine mount in the back. It covers quite a large distance over the chassis and can really greatly affect the amount of twisting action in the chassis, depending on which screws you use. So obviously if you put all the screws in, it'd be quite stiff. Generally, the stiffer this is at the rear, generally you're going to get a lot more of that. Instead of the chassis flexing, that torque motion is going to end up at the front, so it's probably going to give you some more steering. Might be hard to see on camera, but there is actually a little air gap pretty much under the whole length of the engine mount. So in this configuration we can still flex through that area, but you can actually put in a washer in between the engine mount and the chassis, and then you can actually put the stiffening screws in the middle as well. Or you can alternately just run the center screws, which would again allow for some different flex characteristics. So just make sure they're tight. Alright, so engine mount is on. We're going to just put in place the it says to actually put these bearing carriers in for the lay shaft now, and it says that we just break out the round heads type screws. I'll keep all the countersunk screws to one end, and then we can put all these little button heads down the other end. Again, match these little guys up on the manual if you're not sure which is an. I'm pretty much certain that is what these little guys are, and there's no left and right on these either. So what we'll do is we're only just going to just gently, we're not even going to tighten these up, because I mean it's pretty obvious that we're going to have to come back and put the bearings in and then put the lay shaft in before we can actually tighten these up. So we'll just put them in there loose for now. Alright.